In 3, 2, 1, go.
Do you think this is the best season finale they've done so far?
No.
I think they usually nail it with their finales. I don't know if there's a season finale I dislike.
Not to sound cliche, but I think it's season 3.
The 3 finale is pretty fun. It loses some people when we do the thing with Hopper and then don't commit.
That's more of an issue with 4. Or wait, no, maybe they do tease that in 3. That he's not really dead. I don't remember.
Yeah, they tease it in 3. When we go back to Russia, they talk about having an American prisoner.
I like the 4 finale's fun. I like that little moment at the end.
There's great stuff in the 4 finale, like really great stuff. It's also 2.5 hours long, and I don't know why they didn't just split that into 2 episodes.
Yeah, for real.
There's also pacing issues. Right, I remember like looking at the time where we're like gearing up for the climax, and like Steve and Robin and Nancy are like going to Vecna's house to face him, and then there's like an hour and 20 minutes left. Because they're going to be covered in vines for like 45 minutes, just stuck there. Like, so there are some structural and pacing issues.
I didn't think it felt that long when they were stuck in the...
And I'd have to go back and time it, but there is some awkward stuff of, oh, we need this character out of commission because we're spending time on this character over here, and we're trying to juggle.
I don't think I can say the 4 finale, though, because I do have a lot of problems with that finale. It does have one of the coolest deaths in this entire show, though.
When the guy gets...
When the guy's, like, on the portal as it opens.
Yeah, that's a character that, like, you could have spent an arc on in season 5 redeeming, but I'm really glad they did it. It's like, yeah, just kill him.
At some point, you gotta just let a villain be a villain.
Right. Like I said, I like Billy. I like the tragic redemption that Billy gets in his death and stuff, but you don't need to do that with every antagonist. Did I stutter? And like I said, this lady, she killed Benny, and I'm still upset about it. Every time she pops up, I'm like, you go to hell.
Bitch. Does she come back, or does she die in this? I don't remember.
No, she dies in this. And that's an element of this season I always forgot was set up here, was the conspiracy theorist guy and giving that stuff to the press. Like, he is in here, like, that is set up here, but it's just such a bigger part of season 2. And then season 3, and like, he becomes like, that's another one who becomes like one of the main characters of the show. I always forget, like, oh right, they did set that up in season.
Well, he really doesn't need to be a main character.
No, I like him sometimes. His antics with Alexi in season 3 are fun. I liked Alexi,
but that just compounds the character problem in this.
But yeah, show. There are too many characters, absolutely.
It'd be funny though. In 5, they just go on like a killing spree. Like, the only people standing are the original like cast.
And I do like this morally gray place we take Hopper, that he's willing to take this deal when, you know, a lot of characters we have in fiction wouldn't. You know, like, you know, the Punisher wouldn't take that deal. Snake Plissken wouldn't take that deal. You know, like a lot of popular anti-heroes. But it's interesting that Hopper is someone who's like, all he cares about is getting that kid back to his mom, and that the rest of the people he cares about are okay. He does not give a shit about the future at all with this stuff.
Like, okay, so I'm gonna follow up with our previous discussion. My complaints about how Nancy has handled this season. She just abandons these kids to be on their own when there's a monster out there.
Doesn't she tell them they're leaving?
No, he was just saying he discovered they're gone.
Okay, I don't remember how that played out.
Unless I did miss the scene where she said it, but like he acted like he didn't know where they went.
All right.
Like I get that she wants revenge, but I think she's a little too single-minded on this. It's the bat. It's the freaking bat.
It's Robert Battenbat.
Well, you know, my favorite joke is who would have guessed that the best pair in season 3 would be Batman and Robin.
Like I said, this is where we're doing that Nightmare on Elm Street stuff with Nancy. And again, it's
no, Robert, this is Home Alone.
Remember when Kevin McAllister fought Demogorgon? No,
because every movie that has traps is Home Alone.
Do you ever get annoyed by the discourse around the show from like people who love it who clearly don't watch horror movies? Have you ever run into that?
I don't engage with fandoms because 90% of them annoy me.
I try not to. No, but this is the type of stuff where I'll see like articles, think pieces about like Nancy, like in this situation where it's like, and see, she's not like those other final girls who are just damsels in distress. She's actually taking charge and is becoming a fighter. I'm like, have you ever fucking seen Alien or Nightmare on Elm Street? Like, oh my god, like what the? Again, that like I like Nancy. I'm not criticizing the show. It's just like not everything is a subversion or being done in this show for the first time. Like
I would also argue Nancy isn't as well written in most of this season as like Ripley or
not Ripley, certainly.
Maybe better than like Nancy Thompson, but
I like Nancy, but she's not one of my favorites. But I do like Nancy.
She might be a top 5. I don't know.
Top 10.
I like the ones that 10. Nobody talks about. Nancy, Kirsty from Hellraiser.
That's a good one. I mean, Sidney Prescott's one of my favorites.
She's just the best final girl. Like,
and a lot of people don't like her for some reason.
I did not know that. Another reason not to engage with fandoms.
Yep.
The atmosphere is toxic, season 4. Well, we'll just go in.
Again, I don't know if that's actually a problem because
I'm not even complaining. I just think it's funny. I can't complain about that because that's the show thing, right? You introduce something and it's dark and mysterious and probably dangerous, but the show continues and it has to be less dangerous because the characters have evolved to the point where they can handle it.
And as we establish, Will has been in there for a while and he does survive. So it's at least not as toxic as these people are leading on. And generally speaking, if you're a scientist in this situation, you would wear a hazmat suit. You wouldn't just walk in there and go, the air is breathable. Like, no, like you would wear protection.
Remember Alien?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is straight up some Alien shit. Like,
having said that, though, the Upside Down sure seems a lot more uncomfortable and difficult to breathe and hot or cold, you know, in this season. Then when you get to season 4, and everyone seems pretty fine. So I'm not saying you're wrong.
Damn, that was a long ass like cold open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes that happens and you're like, oh, right, I didn't realize we were at the title. I mean, it's no Friday 13th, 2009 cold open, but
I mean that's just like the greatest colding open of all time.
I can't wait to do a commentary on that one with you at some point.
No, I like that movie quite a bit.
That would be part of our series. Got Friday 1 and the remake.
Well, that's what gave me the idea, because I don't think I showed you this, but I have Friday the 13th, and it's weird. It comes in a slipcover.
They've been doing that lately. Some of those slipcovers look really nice. Did your Texas Chainsaw not come with a slipcover?
It did not.
Because I know they did one with a slipcover, but I think you got it.
My American Psycho one does, but it's a clear slipcover, and so like you pull it off, and it's like his face pulling off.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
No, Friday the 13th, and it has. I love this, and then Killer, Mommy, Killer.
And now you've got the Arrow 4K of the remake coming out.
Yeah, that's what gave me the idea. It's like, I would love to watch these back to back. No, I think 2009 is kind of the perfect remake. Although it's funny because when I first watched it, I had only seen the later sequels. So I was a fan of, zombie Jason. It is methodical and slow. So I watched it, it's like, why the fuck is he running and shit? This is dumb.
Nope, he ran in part 2. He runs a little in part 3. Does a little jog. Do we need more Friday the 13th movies? No.
Yes.
But that is an angle on Jason that I would like to explore more. Like, because again, you get a little bit of that in part 2, and then the remake just does more with that. Like, no, I like the survivalist angle with Jason. I think that's how you set him apart from your Michael Myers. No,
I still prefer the zombie one, because that's also unique. But I like both versions. But the answer is yes, we need more Friday the 13th movies, damn it.
I do like this trap. I like a good trap.
Okay, so I have a question for this upcoming scene. How does Steve know that they're there?
I don't remember what he says, because is he going there to apologize to Jonathan? Because this is Jonathan's
you know
house.
what? I think you're right. That is
okay.
Maybe that is what it is.
Right, because then he's surprised that Nancy's there, and he's like, "What the fuck?" No, everything with Steve in this episode is great. You get some great comic relief, get a great redemption, get a couple badass moments. See, I like that Dustin's pragmatic. He's like, no, fuck you. I'm getting my ice cream. Getting my chocolate, damn it. I'm rating
This is why you don't leave kids alone. Dude, chocolate pudding actually sounds like amazing right now. I love chocolate pudding and butterscotch.
That's one of the instantly iconic visuals from the show we didn't talk about. Is just the alphabet with the Christmas lights around it. Made it I feel like I've seen that everywhere now, just merchandising and stuff.
Also, I would buy it more that her relationship with Steve isn't on her mind if it wasn't constantly teasing that she's having thoughts about Jonathan. So she's clearly thinking about relationship stuff. What's wrong with his hand? I don't remember.
They both just cut their hands for the blood.
Oh, yeah.
To attract the Demogorgon. And it is one of those situations where it would be funny if it just didn't work.
That would be amazing.
They're just there all night, contributing nothing. Yeah,
he's here for Jonathan. Okay. Sorry, I forgot about that.
He's like, what the fuck? But no, this is a great Steve scene.
But see, I mean, every time he pours his heart out to this woman, she's like, "I don't care, go away."
No, because she knows he's in fucking danger. Like, because the Demogorgon's about to show up. She's like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of here.
And I mean, no, I get that. I'm just that's.
Yeah, no, this whole scene's great.
This is
like this is when I think he really shines as an actor. Like, he's been good in the first 7 episodes, but this is where you get a lot of his range, where you could play the scene in so many different ways, but he goes for comedy and it really works. Like when she pulls a gun on him and he says, "What?" Like, it's so funny. And like, this is when it really clicks, where it's like, oh, like, we got something here. Like, there's potential for this character.
no, it's great. I'm thinking of it from Steve's point of view as like.
And now there's a monster.
But no, I think it would have been. I think I would have been cool to see these 3 team up more if just season 2 hadn't happened.
One thing they did that was really cool, they warned Steve about the bear trap. They could have been a dick and not warned him about the bear trap, because you see him jump over it. Well, it's great. But you know what I mean? Where it's like, on paper, like, I don't know if there was a whole lot to Steve in this episode. A lot of what we're getting, like, I feel like
is Joe Keery.
Is the performance, yeah. Like, he's really bringing this character to life and making.
I mean, I think even in season 2, like, what make in all of the show is like, Joe Keery is bringing that character to life. Because if it was just the writing, I don't think it would just be Steve that everybody loves.
Right. Yeah, and again, you can criticize a lot of the writing in the show. I'm not calling it a brilliant show. I get why it's not for everybody, and I can acknowledge some of the issues with it. I don't think you could ever really accuse the show of having like bad casting. You know, it's like the cast are 90% of the reason the show is as popular as it is. And then, like, I think it's shot well. I like the music. Like, there's enough elements going on here where it's like, no, like, there's reasons I like this show. Like, it's not just hype.
If I had to criticize any of the casting, and I don't know if this is a criticism of the casting or just the writing, I don't think Charlie Heaton is good enough to elevate subpar material, which is why his character falls off harder than like Steve. Because I think Joe Keery can elevate subpar material and like still make you care about his character, whereas I think Charlie Heaton has given up to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going through the motions as an actor.
This is when the show really twists the knife, and you're like, "Oh fuck, right? Yeah, we had to go here." With Hopper,
it is so weird to see like a freshly, like a clean shaven Hopper.
Mm-hmm. No, this stuff is really
also like. I get that this is like important backstory. It's just I think kind of awkwardly edited in.
Oh, I've never had that issue because he's thinking about his daughter while he's looking for Joyce's son. You know, like it's what he's thinking about right now. You know, they're letting us get in his head now. Like I think it works.
My favorite Steve moment in this season, though, is coming up.
And again, one thing this episode avoids is no drama bullshit. We don't stretch this out to Nancy, are you fucking Jonathan? Jonathan, get away from my girl. Don't do any of that bullshit. Just immediately Demogorgon shows up. Thank you, episode.
Yeah. And I mean, I like that, but at the same time, I'm still waiting for that conversation.
4 or 5 moments. That's all it takes to find out if you're a hero.
This is my favorite Steve moment when he's just about to leave. and then he senses that they could be in danger. But I think, fuck you, this also proves me right. If she had just brought him in from the beginning.
But she doesn't know how that would play. No
because
one
she
knows.
doesn't give him a chance.
Like I said, it's just not on her mind. Like I said, a lot of characters behave irrationally in the show, and there's a reason for it. So. Anyway, this is
fuck you, my boy saves the day.
Yeah, when I went to a Universal for the Halloween Horror Nights in 2019, they had a Stranger Things maze that was mainly stuff from season 1 and season 2, and part of the maze was like recreating this house. So you had,
if
like,
I have one complaint about this, and I know it's like a stylistic thing, the flashing is annoying.
It is. It's not the worst I've seen, but whenever you watch something and you get, I think it's worse later in the episode. I think there's a strobe effect that comes later that's a lot more irritating. And whenever you're watching like a movie or a show now and it has that flashing light warning, you know, because people who might get prone to seizures or have sensitive eyes, it's like, can we just agree it's just not stylistically cool? Like, does anyone enjoy it? Like flashing lights, does anyone go, yeah?
No, but like, fuck you. I am vindicated. They needed all three of them to kill that thing.
Well, I mean, they don't kill it though. So you're not.
Fight it off.
I mean, this plan doesn't work.
Right. But they almost died if he hadn't stuck around. And they still treated him like shit trying to get him out of there.
No, they were concerned for his safety.
I don't know. I think pulling a gun on someone is a bit extreme, even if you're concerned for their safety.
I think fighting a monster is also extreme, but I've never been in this situation.
I mean, it is extreme, but again, I'm vindicated. It took all three of them just to get it to go away.
But they're the ones like, it's obviously this would have played out the way they intended to. But
if they had played out the way they intended it to, they would have died.
Maybe. You're also projecting, like, I haven't been shitting on Steve at all this episode.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I think I'm vindicated in saying that if they had brought him in from the beginning, they would have been much easier.
Okay, but that doesn't mean, like, that I don't believe the choices the characters made along the way. That's all.
I don't know. I think Nancy's having a real double standard for...
she's flawed. I never said she wasn't.
Oh my god, it's the lights. So can you just like not kill the Demogorgon then? It just goes back to the upside down?
I don't remember if we actually kill... I guess we do kill the Demodogs in season 2.
Yeah, I don't know. You're saying it's not dead, but do you have any evidence of that?
Oh,
that I'm just not remembering. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we get the big fight at the school, and it is...
For some reason, this finale doesn't stick with me. I always forget parts.
And I know you're not as hot on season 2 as I am. I think season 2 has a really good last couple episodes.
Yeah. Parts.
I don't know, like the whole episode when they're just stuck in the facility. The one where Bob dies, I think that one's great. I think the finale when they do their final showdown's great.
The bit where they're stuck in the facility is fantastic.
And 3 has a good finale. There's a lot I like in that finale.
I like the musical bit. I know some people hate it, but...
Yeah, that really turned off a lot of people and thought it went too far. I don't know. They went for the joke and it made me laugh.
And I also think that's more of a character thing than anything. That girl doesn't know that they're in danger.
Yeah, like it's silly, but yeah. Didn't ruin anything for me. I thought it worked. But I think the last season 2 is one of the last like epilogues of any finale, where that's when you get like the ball with all the kids. And then Nancy dances with Dustin, and it's adorable. Like there's a lot of great characters.
No, that's got one of my favorite Steve moments where he drops her off, and you get that one last look at Nancy, like wistful look, and then he drives off.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown is in a weird position as an actress, where like this is a very particular character that is very soft spoken. It doesn't say a whole lot, and I think like what she has to do, like she's very good. Like I think she was.
I think my annoyance with the character.
I haven't seen her enough to say like how if I think she's a great actress. Like I don't know.
I don't think she is. I think my problem with this character is like the soft spoken thing. You should be done with that by like season 3.
I disagree. I think they're consistent with how she picks it up. Like this kid has had so much fucking trauma, man. Like it's not just.
Well, see,
like,
I always thought it was less about the traumas, more like she just didn't have anyone to talk to, or very much. But she's been around like friends and people that she could talk to. Like she should be talking like a normal person now.
I don't really agree, but she does talk a lot more in season 3, season 4. But like I don't know if I think it would take a lot longer to talk like a normal person. I mean, fuck, like I don't know if I talk like a normal person. I certainly did it in high school, and I didn't have any of this fucking tragedy and trauma.
When I say like a normal person, at some point she should be able to put a sentence together.
But I think she does though, and
I remember in season 3 she's still using real broken English.
Yeah, a little, but she talks a lot more than she does here. And this is the best scene. Because fuck you killed Benny.
You're really on about Benny.
He's the best. He's probably my favorite, like, one episode character in this entire show. Also, that's pretty violent.
No, that is. And it's just funny. That's what's really funny about season 2, because they like try to make Elle like really edgy, with the slick back hair and the leather jacket. She's already scary.
Mm-hmm.
She just looks goofy when you put like eyeshadow.
Yeah, but most kids like go through that phase, and it's the period piece, the settings part of it.
But you can't have it both ways. You can't have her be culturally ignorant and then also have the same phases that every other kid has.
But it's imparted on her by this group she stumbles onto, and that's what any kid can relate to. Or like when you get part of a different group, like you want to fit in with them, you want to look like they look. Like that's what's going on. And she doesn't do that herself. Like they're the ones who change her hair and give her makeup and that outfit and stuff. So no, I mean that stuff works.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again. I don't go back to season 2 a lot, if you hadn't noticed. That's the one I just watched the highlights on YouTube.
There are definitely some recent shows I'm having that with, where I don't know if you saw, but Disney Plus has started putting some of their shows out finally on Blu-ray. They're doing steelbooks. I got the Andor one because it's great, and now the Obi-Wan one is out. Yeah, now the Obi-Wan one's out. I'm like, do I need to buy this? I don't think I do, because I can just watch the highlights on YouTube. There's like 10 minutes of that show I like.
So I also was tempted. I was also tempted, but then I was like, there's one scene in that show that I like. And it is the big showdown with Obi-Wan and Anakin, where Darth Vader says, Anakin is gone. That's the only scene that I like.
There are two or three other scenes I like in that show.
And I'm paraphrasing, but like I know I like that whole scene where he's like, "I am what remains," and Ian sells the hell out of his emotions in that scene.
This is when we really kick in the strobe effect, and I don't think it's really necessary.
This is very 2016.
Yeah, it's. And again, plot-wise, this works because, oh shit, there's all this blood everywhere now. The Demogorgon's coming back, but do we need the lights flickering on and off like this?
Yeah.
Like, it's just annoying.
Also, are we sure it's the same one?
Oh, it is, because it's all injured and fucked up. I'm also... Now, this is goofy, because how the fuck does he survive? Whatever. Because they tease it in season 2, like, Papa might still be alive. Papa might come back, and then they bring him back in season 4 without explaining. It's like, you just got tackled by the Demogorgon. How the fuck did he survive that? But I also am bringing behind the scenes stuff, like when I'm talking about this, because they all like in the writing and directing stuff, they're always referring to this Demogorgon as one creature. And I think that's deliberate and specific because I don't think they know yet that there's going to be multiple Demogorgons. Like, I don't know if they even fully know yet what the Demogorgon is. I don't know if I know what the
Demogorgon
possible.
Is. I haven't seen any of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. So, to be clear, I am bringing that to this.
I think what also, like, I'm unable to separate this season from other seasons like you seem to be able to. So anything that I'm complaining about, I'm taking within the context of the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
And we'll talk about it in season 2, but I hate that they make Steve apologize for being cheated on. Meanwhile, on Alien...
But yeah, this is very Alien because he is like
no, this is just Aliens. Like,
so, yeah, it's if the show is getting too derivative, you got a pretty compelling argument here. Oh god, it's so gross.
It is, and we don't really get like this grimy and dirty ever again.
No, because like I said, there's some pretty gnarly body horror stuff in season 3, but I mean that's all like CGI.
And even in season 4, the gnarly body horrors looks really bad.
I think some of it looks good.
When Chrissy starts to like do the thing, she looks like a cartoon character.
I've never had that problem with it. I don't know. I might change my mind on rewatch.
Yeah. You gotta watch it in 4K like I am, you pleb.
But yeah, it seems like this, where I'm like, oh god, stop it with the flickering lights.
Yeah, no, like, why is it flickering right here?
Like, does anyone enjoy this? Like, or think it adds to the tension in any meaningful way? Genuine question.
The only time I've ever liked a flickering effect, and this is the only thing I'm going to praise about the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, is there's an idea of micro sleep where they're in and out of the dream world. So Freddy will flicker in and out of the scene, and it's really cool.
Also, there's the scene in like the Batman. There's also a similar scene in Dark Knight Rises when they're shooting machine guns down a hallway, and the muzzle flares are illuminating Batman. Like, that's a really cool shot. It's also like 3 seconds. You know, it's not a whole scene. It's just like that can look cool when you have like a machine gun going off and that's like illuminating a scene. It's like that can look cool, and it's also just a few seconds. You don't have to look at it.
Like Dark Knight Rises does that, where it's just illuminated by gunfire.
Which, like I said, can look cool, and it's fine because it's just a few seconds. I do like this payoff with the sleep shot.
So, A Quiet Place is totally looking at this movie for its monster, or the show for its monster design, right?
I would say so. I'm sure Cloverfield was also a look. The best and worst thing about Cloverfield is like I like that creature a lot, and then that's just kind of how we do creatures and everything after. They all have a very similar look with the long, skinny limbs
and I don't know if we ever talked about. I hate that first Cloverfield movie.
I like it.
I saw it in theaters and it gave me a massive headache.
That's fine. I can't argue.
Maybe I'd like it on a rewatch. I don't know. I also haven't seen it since theaters, so maybe I'd have a different take on it. I do like that one like body horror scene where that girl that's like scratched or whatever explodes.
Yeah, that is pushing it for PG-13. Like, it's mostly off screen, but I'm still surprised I got away with that. And this scene is effective, but arguably less so when you've seen what comes next, where it's this really big emotional self-sacrifice, and all that's really going on is
stop it with the flashing lights.
Yeah. So she's killing the Demogorgon and accidentally opening a portal to the Upside Down, right? And for some reason, she's sucked into it. But then I'm not sure why. When we start season 2, she's just in the Upside Down and then has to crawl back out.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I feel like that was just so if they don't get another season, like that's her out, she dies.
Yeah, it's just sad. But maybe.
No, in the context of the whole show, I'm not sure what's happening here.
And that's where I can understand why some people would prefer this as more of a self-contained thing. Like, no, the story is done here. You know, I get why some people wouldn't need more. I'm fine with more because I like so many of these characters and I like seeing them grow and stuff. Like,
my favorite character doesn't come into his own until next season.
Yeah, like you said, like if this show stops here, then Steve is not the fan favorite popular character he is. You know, we don't get all that stuff.
And I do like the continuation of like Will brought something back with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the stuff I think season 2 gets right, is dealing with the
I also think it's possible Will dies in the final season.
God, I hope not.
Bring it full circle. It began with Will, it ends with Will.
Yeah, but I think killing Jonathan would be more interesting and would affect the characters in more interesting ways, and Will. Where, especially with Joyce, where it's like Joyce, her focus for so much of this has been Will, and then to lose her oldest son would be such a hard thing for her to go through. But that's the route I'd rather go. You know, just depending on context.
I think it depends on how much symmetry they want with the first season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when we get to that series finale, like I think anything goes. Like they could pull the rug out from under us and kill Mike or something. Like I don't know.
Like, the only thing is, like we speculate who dies. I also don't trust them to actually kill anyone.
Right. I don't think it's gonna be a big body count in terms of main.
Because they've already established that 11 is God and can bring people back from the dead. No, I think that is a big jump the shark moment. And they're going to regret it next season.
I have to see how it plays out. To me, it's like, she just jump started her heart. I've never overthought that. And currently, she's brain dead. You know.
Yeah, but really glad we spared her from death to bring her back into being brain dead.
Because I think what we're going to see next season is that Vecna has her soul, and they've got to save her.
I think that's what it's going to be. Damien, hello, you new to Stranger Things. We are not new to Stranger Things, but we're arguing about it for 8 hours.
No, we both like the show.
No, yeah.
Thank you for coming in at the end. We are almost done with this finale. Yeah, this is not a blind watch for either of us. We're finishing up our season 1 commentary, but we have seen the show before.
We will find something for one of us to blind react to at some point. Probably Robert. Because he hasn't seen that much now.
That's true. And that is, for me, again, kind of a compliment. Kind of also the best and worst thing about season 2 is you get this nice relief, cathartic, happy ending with Will waking up. It ain't over. He goes through so much hell in season 2, man. Like, oh my god.
And then he gets forgot about.
Yep.
What's up, Damien? Have I said that right?
But I think this season though does, and I think most seasons nail the bittersweet ending. You know, like Nancy doesn't get Bar back. Mike's just lost 11. You know, so it's like they have Will back, but it's very melancholy and bittersweet. You know, it's not a
I
complete
feel like
victory.
seasons 2 and 3 have happier endings.
No, because well, season 2, yes, even though some of them are still dealing with losing Bob. Season 3, everyone's dealing with losing Hopper, and then half of them move away. Like season 3 is a very melancholy ending.
Yes, we are familiar with the Scream franchise.
Big fan. Love those movies.
Love the first 4. Well,
and
I like 3, but
there's things
I love 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 4.
yeah, we're on the same page there. And this is stuff I'm just such a sucker for. Just like this weird band of misfits, this found family. Like just all these different characters. And then I think they fuck up a little where Nancy's mom feels like she's going to be more of a presence, and then she's not, and then she has her own subplot in season 3. Doesn't go anywhere. And Ted's there. How much Scream stuff have you done for the channel, though, in terms of reviews and commentaries?
Reviews, just the first 2. I had a friend that wanted to do them with me, but then she started flaking out on me. At the end of stream, can you react to Stab 4 Knife of Doom teaser 2? I got to do marketing. I'm going to be honest, it is 4 a.m. where I am, and I have to be up at 9. So as soon as we finish this, we have to go.
Yeah, we're out of here, man.
But maybe next time, then.
Oh, okay. This is fan film. I haven't heard of that one. I should check it out.
Yeah.
But even looking at, though, to give the season credit, even looking at it as a standalone thing, like there are multiple threads set up to pick up on. You know, it is not an entirely closed circle. It's like we've still got this stuff with this deal that Hopper made. You know, what are they gonna do with him next? Like there's a lot of ambiguity here. So when people say that, oh, Stranger Things should have never gotten a second season, it should have been a standalone thing, I'm like, this isn't. And clearly, like, this is conceived of with the possibility of continuing, whether you wanted more or not. Like, I don't see this as an entirely isolated miniseries.
Yeah. Damien, as we said, we really have to leave immediately after this episode.
Yeah,
but we will look into it later. Yeah, we will look into it at some point, I promise.
And now it's a Christmas show. I was really hoping that we'd get a whole season set around winter, you know, with more of a Christmas backdrop. I don't think we're going to get that. Just since they've been so seasonal, where season 2 is fall, Halloween, season 3 is summer, season 4 is spring, but I'm guessing season 5 will just be like summer again.
We begin with, we end with D&D.
And the stuff with Will is the main one. Where we don't let this happy ending stick. Like, we do set up, like, fuck, there's something wrong with it. Like, it isn't over. And I'm partial to Will because he's the one I relate to the most. Probably should have led with that in our 8-hour discussion of the show.
Yeah.
Could have mentioned that somewhere. Of these kids, not which one do you like the most, of these kids, which one reminds you the most of your childhood self? You can include the teenagers as well.
It's hard because I didn't have a group of friends that I played like D&D
Like
or
this.
hung out with.
Yeah. I mean, I've never played D&D.
Probably
D&D.
Dustin, because I feel like he's the most nerdy of them. And I was that loner that, like, I was a geek,
Mm-hmm.
before it was cool to be a geek.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Will has that too, but I relate to Will because, like, he's the shy one. He's
I think I'm a mix of, like, Dustin and Will, because I can definitely be shy, but I can also be an opinionated asshole, as you figure out. Yeah, I mean, we're always happy to look into something when we get some free time, but just right now our schedules are pretty busy. And Steve even gets him a new camera.
Good job, Steve.
And doesn't take credit for it.
Yeah, and that's part of your frustration is I think you like where we leave these characters at the end of the season. Like, Steve and Nancy are still together, Jonathan's grown, they've all grown, and then season 2 makes some questionable choices.
And I think it's more frustrating because until I see otherwise, I can only assume it's because these two are in a relationship in real life.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, they don't have any chemistry.
I like them enough together. I'm always a sucker for a good Christmas setting. I want a whole episode or a whole season around Christmas.
I don't necessarily need to be a Christmas setting, but like just a winter setting would be cool.
Mm. But I also think you can overdo it. Like, I don't know if you heard this, but apparently Hawkeye was renewed for season 2, and they're doing Christmas again. And I think that's a weird choice.
That's a choice. I didn't know they were getting a season 2. I just want them to do something with Kate Bishop. Like, she's awesome in that first season.
I like that first season a lot. And like I said, I really like the Christmas setting of that season, but I didn't need that again for season 2. I would have done something different. The big one I want, like, from Marvel is I want a whole Spider-Man, like, winter movie with a lot of Christmas stuff, because we do Spider-Man and Christmas a lot, and we haven't done that much in the movies. Like, we've had a couple movies where there's, like, a scene that acknowledges Christmas, or there's, like, some snow, but we haven't gotten a lot of, like, snow in New York.
I don't think we've got any real snowy settings.
Just
Amazing
for, like,
is like a montage in Amazing too. Although it does have one of my favorite scenes where he's just like walks in the store with like the scarf and the hat on, and he's sick.
That's a good moment. Yeah. I'm also not an expert on New York City whether I don't know if it snows there more frequently in like January, February, or whatever. But I would like more, winter Spider-Man winter centric stuff in a movie in New York. But yeah, this is mainly the stuff where when people say, "Oh, I wish this was a mini series," or "I wish they never continue it," I assume what they mean is they just didn't like what they got, or they wish they cut a couple scenes here, because clearly there is some season 2 bait here. Like, you wouldn't have this scene if
Well,
you
this
wanted
is the
this to be
classic slasher. Like, it's not over,
right.
or
That's not
is
over.
it?
Yeah.
Speaking of Christmas, Stab 3 holiday horror set in Christmas season.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't watched any
Oh my god.
Scream fan films, but there are some good Friday the 13th fan films that
I
are
would
worth
love to
checking
do
out.
commentaries on those Never High Cologne films.
They're pretty good. That third one is interesting because I don't really know what the general consensus on it. It feels too ambitious and kind of corny, but it's also a Friday the 13th movie, and you're not comparing it to movies that are known for their great acting. Usually, it's really weird, but I did like it a lot. And like I said, from a technical perspective, this is always a well put together show. Like, it's always a good looking show. And that was it. That was the Stranger Things.
That was Stranger Things season 1, folks.
We did it.